Stop if you test positive for herpes. I tested positive for herpes back in 2015. And when I tested positive for herpes, I really felt the weight of the stigma. It was crippling. I feared rejection, feared humiliation, feared what people would think about me, feared what people would say about me, so much so that it dictated how I showed up in this world. The stigma became my personality, and all my decisions were made to avoid the weight of the stigma or even feeling the stigma. That's not a way to live life. I was only showing up for myself conditionally instead of unconditionally. I wasn't living in my authentic truth, and I didn't know who I was because I was living for the validation of others. Now, I soon learned that the stigma was so true in my own life because I believed it. And because I decided to believe in the stigma, guess what my brain did? It showed me all the reasons why I was right. It pointed me to the direction of everything that proved to be true instead of false. How you think, how you feel, what you believe, your life right now is all a reflection of your mindset. So whatever I believe and think, it starts in my brain first and then manifests into my reality. Let me continue, right? Let's think about airplanes. In order for airplanes to exist, somebody had to believe that humans could fly. And that one person that believed that humans could fly, I bet you everybody around them told them that it was impossible. But it took that one thought to birth a whole bunch of other thoughts that birthed airplanes and jets and helicopters. That's the same thing with this phone, with these apps, right? It exists in the mind first before we see it in our reality. Now, if thoughts can create airplanes and helicopters and jets and phones and apps, imagine what thoughts are creating in your own life. If I tell myself I don't like onions and I'm eating a dish and I know it has onions in it, my brain is going to filter out all the reasons why this dish tastes good and look for all the reasons why this dish tastes bad. Okay? If I go into a restaurant and tell myself I'm going to be present with the person I'm going to the restaurant with, my brain is going to filter out the door opening and closing, the waitress and waiters walking all over the place, the conversations happening at the other two tables, just so that I can focus in on what I intended to do. It starts as a thought before it manifests into your reality. So if I'm telling myself I'm dirty, I'm worthless, everyone's going to reject me, no one's ever going to want me, my life is over, my intimacy, my adult therapy life is over, guess what happens? It manifests into my reality. I start to filter out everything going right and look for everything wrong about me having this diagnosis. I start to attract people that support that. I start to look for things, hear things, see things that support the stigma instead of looking for things and seeing things that reject the stigma. I had to reject the stigma in my mind before it started to happen in my reality. I have to accept myself 100% and learn how to love myself unconditionally first in order to see the results of that in my reality. The stigma exists so strongly in your life, it's because you believe in it. Again, if I believe that I don't like onions, I'm never gonna like onions. I'm never gonna give myself a chance to like onions. If I believe that I don't like females and I don't ever make female friends, I'm always going to attract people that I bump heads with or look for reasons to bump heads with them because I have this belief system in my head that I don't like female friendships until I decide to change that belief. Again, if thoughts are strong enough to create airplanes and applications and phones and cars and helicopters, just take a few seconds to observe what your own thoughts and belief systems are creating in your own reality. I hope this helps.